5. This is On the Record with Todd McDermott.
Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month is an important time to raise public awareness about Alzheimer's disease and other common types of dementia and the symptoms they cause. According to the Alzheimer's Association, more than 7 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's. And the state of Florida has the second highest number of people with Alzheimer's in the country. More than 580,000 of our loved ones, friends, and neighbors here in Florida have the disease. To talk more about the impact of Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia and the effort to fight them, we're joined by Jennifer Braisted, Director of Government Affairs for the Alzheimer's Association. Jennifer, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
Why don't we first look at the definition? Because I know that people, when you say dementia and Alzheimer's, it can be confusing.
Absolutely.
So if you would delineate for people what they are.
Absolutely. So dementia is really an umbrella term of different symptoms that can include memory loss and other psychological and behavioral changes. Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia, and it is a neurodegenerative disease that affects memory, thinking, and behaviors.
And I think a lot of people are, not to get too far into the medicine of it, but a lot of people are confused about what causes these diseases.
Sure. So, unfortunately, age is the greatest risk factor. However, it's so important to note that Alzheimer's and dementia, it's not a typical part of aging. There's also a genetic connection. So there's but we're seeing now with research that there are modifiable risk factors that people can actually take into account for their health to potentially delay or slow down or not even have dementia.
And that is really an important and positive part of your story.
Absolutely.
What about the difference? Because you mentioned age being a factor.
Yes.
There is normal memory loss, slight memory loss
Sure.
as we age, and then there are the forms of dementia. How do we define that difference?
Sure. So there are 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's. You're looking at memory that really affects your daily life, but something that could be a normal memory loss is maybe forgetting the name of someone, but remembering it later, or forgetting where your keys are, but you're able to retrace your steps and find it later. Those are typical age-related changes. But when you are someone who makes, cooking and recipes, and you're putting in wrong ingredients, forgetting an ingredient, things that you're used to normally, that could be something that could be a sign. And it's so important to, talk to your doctor about your cognitive health.
Are there other early warning signs that we should be aware of when it comes not only to ourselves, but our loved ones?
So I think, looking at activities and things that they've done, if they're forgetting to pay their bills and there's someone who's always kept their books, just things that don't seem right. If they're socially withdrawn, that could be a sign as well. So really just kind of keeping into account, knowing your loved one, knowing what they're like, and if you see those changes, that could be something that could possibly be affecting their memory. Now that could be something where it's just a vitamin deficiency, but it could be something else. So that's why it's so important to talk to your doctor about your cognitive health.
And obviously we're talking about awareness, and
Yes.
It is just being aware and paying attention, right?
Yes, absolutely. And so, the Alzheimer's Association, we have alz.org, where you can learn about those warning signs, learn more about the disease. We have a helpline number that's 800-272-3900. You can call anytime for any questions. And it's just so important to know that awareness, know what's going on, and, be talking to your doctor about your cognitive health.
Speaking of talking to your doctor.
Yes.
When is the point where we decide that we should be seeking professional help or a professional opinion when we're trying to figure out whether there might be a dementia factor?
Well, I think knowing those warning signs, if you see something that's suspicious, whether that's you see it in a loved one or you see it in yourself, talking to your doctor about that. Your primary care doctor can do, a cognitive assessment, and then if there's need for further testing, they can refer to a neurologist.
Actually, that kind of dovetails into my next question. That is, once you get the diagnosis, what do you face once you have a diagnosis? What are the next steps along the way?
Sure. So it's really critical after that diagnosis to, figure out what stage you are in the disease, whether there are treatments available. There are new FDA-approved drugs now that can actually slow the progression of the disease and remove that amyloid plaque from the brain. So if you're in those early stages and have that diagnosis, you could be eligible for treatment. But then also when anyone gets that diagnosis, it's so critical to plan, whether that's financial, what you want to do, you know, setting that out and having your wishes pre-planned, because so many different issues come out throughout the journey with Alzheimer's disease.
We should address the local resources and support that you can get, especially through the association.
Yes, so alz.org, you can find information. We have local support groups. We also provide education, advocacy work, and then we raise awareness and raise funds for research and support within the community.
I have just a minute left. What are the numbers in Palm Beach County? What are the trends?
Sure, so we have just under 52,000 individuals who are living with a diagnosis. We are one of the top counties in the country for Alzheimer's prevalence. It's about just under 14% of our 65 and older population have a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. And you know, Florida is really at the epicenter of this. We have over 580,000 Floridians, but also we have over 780,000 caregivers in the state who are providing that unpaid care.
We have so much more to talk about when it comes to caregiving. Jennifer Bracestead from the Alzheimer's Association, thank you for joining us
Thank
today.
you so much.
Thank you for all that information.
Of course.
Much more to come today. Next, a powerful story from someone living with mild cognitive impairment in the effort to turn experience into advocacy. On the Record, we'll be right back.
Millennials are hitting midlife.
We can't afford to have a traditional midlife crisis.
Next Amaranol.
Tomorrow morning at 10.
Watch WPBF 25 News.
Know what's happening live with coverage that's immediate and accurate.
From your breaking news leader.
We just got here on the scene. We're live in Stewart. This just in.
I'm tracking severe weather hour by hour with your most accurate forecast to keep you safe and prepared.
We are dedicated to giving you both sides of the story.
And new details on stories that are important to you.
Trust the most experienced team in South Florida. WPBF 25 News. Live, local, late breaking.
From whole home generators to air conditioning, propane, and more, choose the family at Rack for your family.
My name is John Rack.
What are your guiding principles?
My principles that I taught my son: do a good job, top quality, be honest, do what you say you're going to do.
My name is Jesse Rack, CEO of Rack.
What did you learn from your dad?
There is no secret sauce to success. You know, it takes hard work and dedication. Rack's got your back.
Americans, we can do anything we want, except one thing. We just can't stop being American. So get out there, take your swing, rev your engines and let freedom ring, and never, ever, ever stop being American. Nothing stops America, and nothing stops Ram.
Right now, get employee pricing plus finance and get $5,250 total bonus cash. Plus, get 3.9% financing for 72 months on select 2025 Ram 1500 models in dealer stock. See your South Florida Ram dealer today.
Pack your summer with wild fun at Busch Gardens Tampa Bay. Awaken wonder at the all-new Wild Oasis and enjoy spectacular new shows from day to night. Summer at Busch Gardens Tampa Bay. Save up to 55% on tickets, fun cards, and passes during our 4th of July sale. Hurry, offer ends soon.
I feel really chained by my smoking, but I still can't seem to stop. My grandma used to always discourage me from smoking. She would always say, you know, I don't want you to be addicted like I am. She was diagnosed with COPD. That's when she said, quit smoking. You have to quit smoking. Do it for me. But I'm addicted to cigarettes, and that's why I feel so guilty about smoking. I really need to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
You're watching On the Record on WPBF 25.
Joining me now is Amy Daniel. Amy, thanks for being here to share your personal journey. I know that you have an MCI diagnosis, mild cognitive impairment. It was how long ago now that you had the diagnosis?
So about 2.5 years ago.
All right. Talk about first the diagnosis, because people were wondering, as we just talked about in the last segment, the signs. What made you take the step to go get checked?
Well, it wasn't me noticing the signs. So I've been a volunteer for over 15 years with the Alzheimer's Association. I'm an educator, support group facilitator, know the early warning signs, but I did not see it in myself. And it was actually my daughter who said, we're not having this conversation. I've already had it with you 500 times. And she said it in a way that she knew that I would stop in my tracks, and I did, and I walked out crying, but I called a neurologist and made an appointment and started my journey of testing.
Now, she had that conversation with you, and that was the turning point. Did she tell you how long she had been wondering about your abilities?
So we have that conversation. We've been asked that, and she said that it was probably about a year.
Okay. Do you think, now it's interesting because you had the experience.
Right.
I mean, you knew what the signs were.
I absolutely did.
So tell me, were you in a little bit of denial? Did you really not notice it at all?
I mean, I could have been in a little bit of denial. I guess I wasn't listening to the people who were saying, we had this conversation, don't you remember? And it just wasn't really registering, and it was probably because I
So nothing was
want
coming
to.
back. I mean, we do have
Right.
conversations that we forget.
Right.
But nothing was coming back later like, oh, of course I had that conversation. You
Right.
really didn't, it wasn't there.
Right.
Let's talk about the importance that you knew before this, but you certainly are an advocate for it now, the importance of early diagnosis of MCI or Alzheimer's, just how key that is.
You know, I've been talking about early diagnosis and detection for years, talking about the only way that we can make any difference and change in our lives is by having that early detection, trying to get into a clinical trial, because that could potentially help yourself, but also help your children and grandchildren, right? So I've been talking about it for years in my advocacy work. It just didn't dawn on me that that was me.
Where do you stand now as far as treatment, what you're doing to deal with it, with MCI? And again, it is mild cognitive impairment. We need to stress that it is not Alzheimer's disease at this point.
That is correct, and I actually did not test positive for the amyloid, so I'm doing great. I did get a hearing test. I wear hearing aids. I would do anything that would help me, and it's really helped me in my processing. Once I really took in my diagnosis and had time to soak in, I thought to myself, there are modifiable changes that I can take to make life better and easier for myself. The first thing I knew I needed to address was my sleep. So I've been sleeping better. You know, if you're not getting enough deep sleep and REM, your brain is not able to get rid of toxins. And so I am really addressing as many things as possible just to be able to help me live a normal, happier, or happy life, even with my diagnosis.
Well, you seem pretty happy. I just want to add, did you see a change once you started taking these steps? Did you see some positive results?
Yes, and according to my family, they said within 2 to 3 weeks, they noticed a huge difference. So
That's really
it was
positive.
that profound. Yeah.
What else? I mean, somebody out there watching is going to want to know. Sleep, I know, a big key.
Yeah.
What else that was easily changeable for you?
Well, you know, going and getting a hearing test.
Yeah.
And, you know, I didn't have to make a choice of, do I pick up prescriptions or not eat to have hearing aids, right? But there is a link between cognitive impairment and hearing loss. So that is one thing that could absolutely make a difference.
Okay, and now I know that there are people who will say, and I think you would admit this as well, maybe not in your own case, but people just don't want to know. They don't want to hear that diagnosis. It's easy to say, I'm not interested in somebody telling me that I have this problem. What would you tell them?
You know, you can't make anything better without addressing what the real issue is. And, you know, I facilitate support groups, and I hear at every group that there is somebody who has a loved one with Alzheimer's saying, there's nothing wrong with me, I'm fine. They live in their own little world. And when you live in that own little world and pretend that you're okay and you're not, it doesn't do you any good, right? We need to be keeping socially engaged. We need to be keeping active. You know, there are so many things that we can do to address our cognitive health, which also improves our overall health.
Well, your outlook and the positive results you've seen in addressing this should be a story that everyone should pay attention to. We so appreciate you sharing your story with us.
Thank you for having me.
Amy and Daniel, thank you again for sharing.
Thank you.
All right, well, coming up, we get a caregiver's perspective on love, resilience, and the reality of supporting a spouse with mild cognitive impairment. That's when On the Record returns.
On the Jennifer Hudson Show, we've got John Batiste, plus a kid bird caller. Meet some feathered friends. Tomorrow at 3.
WPBF 25 News investigates with Terry Parker.
You change your name, you change your company's name. Why do you keep ripping people off?
Impactful.
What are you doing to make sure that the people of West Palm Beach feel like they are being protected?
Helping victims.
We are in touch with the hotel management, trying to see if there's anything that can be done.
30 years in the market.
The man is now in the Indian River County Jail charged with battery on an officer. I'm Terry Parker. Join me every Thursday at 6 for WPBF 25 News Investigates.
If you need new furniture, stop. It's the final days to save during Bears Furniture's $20 million inventory sell-off sale. Last chance to save 60, 70, even up to 80%. Plus, get an extra 15% off all clearance floor samples. Find sofas, sectionals, bedrooms, mattresses, dining rooms, and recliners before it's all over. Our best brands now at drastically reduced prices. The $20 million inventory sell-off sale ends Sunday. Exclusively yours at Bears.
Snyderman, can you move things in your mind?
Nope.
Could you read our minds?
I got nothing. Were you thinking of nothing?
No. So, what makes you a superhero?
I can tell if you should repair or replace your air conditioning system.
If it's time to replace your air conditioning unit, Snyder can help. Get 0% interest if you pay in full within 60 months. Visit SnyderAC.com and get the details in a flash.
I think you mean Snyderman.
Since 1983, Nissan has been assembling award-winning vehicles for you, right here in America. And we're committed to keeping our lineup affordable and free from new tariffs. That's why we've lowered MSRP on our best-selling Rogue and Pathfinder. So you can get the car you want, at the price you want, knowing Nissan is here for you at the Nissan Summer Sales Event.
Now get 0% APR financing for 60 months on Rogue or Pathfinder, or get a low $259 per month lease on Rogue.
I'm Soledad O'Brien. This week on Matter of Fact,
a brotherly bond.
I love my brother.
The summer camp reuniting siblings separated in foster care.
Welcome back. I'm here with Dave Rohe, who's the caregiver to his wife who has mild cognitive impairment. Thanks for joining us this morning to share your experience. What's it like to go from being a spouse to being a spouse and the caregiver to your wife, Katie, and she again has MCI?
Oh, yes. It's an experience I've never thought I'd get involved in my life. It's career-changing in so many ways. It's an unusual scenario when you have to care for somebody who doesn't understand what's actually going on in their brain. And we've done every kind of test imaginable, but it's tough being a caregiver because you kind of anticipate what's going on, but you can't. You don't know what's going to happen every day. It's a different experience, in that sense.
Can you take us back to the original experience of discovering that Katie was dealing with this?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. 4 years ago, Katie had some surgeries. She's had some health issues over the years. And I now understand from the doctors that general anesthesia will actually make your hearing impairment and your mental problems accelerate, I guess. And that's when I started noticing that she was slipping words, not being able to think about something correctly. And the memory wasn't a big deal at the beginning, but it was just not being aware of certain little idioms. And we coined an idea called ID because she couldn't say the word idea. So we just used something funny. And we also have another word called confusal because she couldn't get that out either. So now we have fun with it. But the fun times are not anymore, in any way helping. Because dealing with somebody who's mentally deficient at this point is tough.
It's 4 years now.
Yes.
What has the the deterioration been like over the 4 years for her?
Actually, thanks to the doctors and the specialists, we've gone through every single permutation trying to get her in studies. Because of her physical and mental health, she didn't qualify for any of those studies. So we've been on our own in that sense, but our doctors have been very helpful. So we're getting some help over the last 2 years, and I think the deterioration has slowed, but it's still going. And what I worry about now is I can see the future and it's not bright. So that really is scary, you know, not only for her, but for me accepting what's going to happen. We've been together for 11 years and it's been great. But now I can see that this that we've had is in the past, not coming back. That's a tough deal.
Has your view of this as a caregiver changed from the beginning to where you are today?
Yes, in so many different ways. But I really want to tell you that I'm finally getting some help. This organization that I'm now a part of, the Alzheimer's Association, has been, it's like an extended family now. They've given me so much support. I'm in 3 different support groups. And the first guy that told me this, he said, Dave, I know what you're like as a pilot, but he said, you need some more tools in your toolbox. So I'm going to help you. And he has.
With what exactly? What is he giving you?
What he's trying to tell me now, I need things like music, all right? And unfortunately, as a pilot, I was never very patient because things have to be correct or you have consequences.
And on time, too.
And he's telling me, you got to try and back away from all of these perfection things. And that's helped to some extent. But I still find myself trying to get things done. And even though Katie would like to help, it's tough seeing her forget things, not knowing what's going on. She forgets regularly. Her memory for the last 10 years or 15 years, fine. But the daily stuff, minute to minute, a little difficult to deal with. It's really, really difficult.
What insight can you offer somebody who's just starting this journey now that you've been at it for 4 years?
Get help. Get help for yourself. It's because you can't actually help the person you're caregiving for at some point. It's more medical, a lot of therapists involved. But as a caregiver, you have to understand now you need some physical, mental, and emotional help. It's really difficult to deal with, especially at the beginning, because you're not sure whether it is a correct diagnosis or not. So that was the first thing we had to try and find out. And we went to 3 different focus groups where they were talking about how badly are you remembering stuff. And eventually, there are some really good programs where they do some investigation. And they said, yes, Katie, you're on that cusp of MCI. But that's been 4 years. But when you were starting out, you're not sure how to deal with it.
Right.
You really don't have any tools at that point, other than seeing this person that you love become a different person in your eyes. It's really emotional.
I want to close. I know you want to talk about the Walk to End Alzheimer's, which is in November. We have about 45 seconds or so left. I know you wanted to mention it because I think it's important to you.
Yes, it is. Now, my problem, unfortunately, is that I'm so caught up with stuff at home. The walk is so vital in so many ways, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to lend some support. You know, I've gone up to Tallahassee a couple of times to talk to, some of the senators, and we're getting some activity, but not enough, okay? It's really, we need a lot more help for caregivers. The patients are getting as much help as they can. There's so many different studies. Katie's actually getting some help from our psychiatrist in the last 6 months that slowed the progression down in a sense. I see, not really regression, because you can't recover, but I see certainly a difference in her, the way her eyes look sometimes.
In a positive way?
In a positive way, yes.
Let's end our story there, a positive way.
Oh man, I'm so happy for that part of it.
Well,
okay?
Congratulations. And
it's
listen,
not that good.
We wish you all the best on your journey with Katie.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Injured in an accident? Let us put our legal power to work for you in fighting for your huge result. Call us at 500-HELP. With Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather, help is just a local phone call away.
WPBF 25 News Mornings and Good Morning America.
I'm Jill Jesus.
And I'm Erin Burns.
And we invite you to join us for Total Retirement with Ernie Burns, where we discuss wealth management, estate planning, and more.
Ernie was named Forbes' Best In-State Top Financial Security Professional in 2024. You don't want to miss it.
Exciting and we're expecting you.
Independence Day will be celebrated with fireworks from one end of the continent to the other. From this day forward, Phantom Fireworks. Brighter, louder, safer. When America wants fireworks, America buys Phantom. Thousands of locations with every type of consumer fireworks available. On sale now. Phantom Fireworks, lighting up backyards of America from coast to coast. Visit fireworks.com for a location near you.
In a Jurassic world, every Jeep vehicle is Jurassic rated. Experience open-air freedom for all. Unsurpassed towing, no matter what it is. Or a third row to fit in all the adventure. Jeep, Jurassic World Rebirth.
Get employee pricing plus finance and get $3,500 total bonus cash on the 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Limited 4x4. Cedar, South Florida Jeep brand dealer today.
Injured in an accident? Smith Ball, Byers & Prather, Florida injury lawyers, will help and fight for you. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball, Byers & Prather, help is just a local phone call away.
Thank you for making this part of your morning today. We encourage you to be part of our discussion each and every Sunday. We're always right here at 10 a.m. Until the next time, you can watch this morning's On the Record program and every episode on our website, that's WPBF.com, and on our free WPBF 25 News app. Matter of Fact with Senator O'Brien is next. Hope you have a wonderful Sunday. We'll see you again next week.